MedBricks Webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming. Welcome to the MedBricks Webcast. This is Ramana Anamraju. I'm the host. I have a great program today. I'm going to talk with the board-certified urologist, most beautiful and with a love full of knowledge and wisdom, and a great dancer, Dr. Diana Londoño from Los Angeles. She's joining with us. After that, I'm going to present a topic on quantum ghost imaging. This is a very interesting topic in the new year. It raises a lot of eyebrows. Actually, is a quantum ghost imaging. It is how we can use a magic to get our advantage to our humanity. That is, I'm going to talk about that. The magic that exists in science. How can we use it to provide a better care for humanity? So, without further ado, let me introduce you Dr. Diana Londoño from Los Angeles to the main stage. Welcome, Diana Londoño.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be here again. It's the second time. So thank you for having me and for spending time to talk about interesting topics and, anything else that, we want to discuss. Absolutely. So grateful to be here.
Thank you. You're always wonderful. I wanted to ask you, Diana, we are the whole world, including physicians, healthcare professionals, healthcare related people, even salespeople like me and healthcare related ones. We are all under a lot of stress nowadays. Healthcare system is undue pressure so much there. What do you think? What is the pressure, that reason you think? Well, before I wanted to ask you a little bit. My daughter told me, Dad, you don't ask too many. You need to ask some personal questions. Let her ask her some personal background. So, Diana, give me some of your personal background a little bit.
Well, thank you. I'm a urologist in Los Angeles, and that's, my full-time job. But I'm also passionate about physician wellness, burnout, and just really supporting physicians. Because as you said, so many of us in every field, are experiencing chronic stress that leads to burnout. And so, especially for physicians, this really matters because we touch so many lives every single day. And when you're not well, it's very challenging to take care of others. And you really have to have a full cup where you are, grounded and not reactive and not angry or hopeless. And you really can find that space where you can be calm and compassionate and curious, which is what you want from a physician that's taking care of you. And that is a challenge when we're in chronic stress, when our nervous system is just completely dysregulated and we are really in a fight or flight, where we want to leave medicine. Almost 150,000, I think, left medicine already last year of the 1 million physicians. So we're leaving, and the ones that are there are really suffering from all the symptoms, even the physical manifestations of stress and burnout. So, that's why it's really important. I am passionate about it. I've gone through it, and, it's just to sort of show that you can get to a better place always. There's always hope. There's always support. But it really takes a few things, and it takes some awareness, it takes some courage to take some steps, and it takes action to do something different and to look at things differently. Because many times it's not about leaving, because if you leave the situation, you're taking your brain and your mindset with you, and then that's going to be exactly the same. And so you're going to have the same feelings, the same situations sort of occur because you haven't changed how you're perceiving the reality, honestly. So stress is really a perception of a situation, because the same situation, somebody can find it just exciting and fun, and somebody can think it's the worst thing. And you can think about this like a roller coaster. Some people think it's amazing and it's the best day of their life, And the same roller coaster, somebody could be terrified. So it's not the roller coaster, it's how we perceive it, how we think about it. So that's a really important thing to start having some awareness of that.
Diana, how much is a organizational systemic problem, or how much is a personal individual thing? You're focusing on individual side of it, but there is a systemic and organizational pressure is there. Could you explain the differentiate those two things?
Yeah, I mean, I think for if we're talking about physicians, I absolutely agree with you. And this is not a personal problem per se. We're actually having a normal response to an abnormal situation, a place where, let's say, compassion and leadership and taking care of the healers is not truly happening. And there's so many pressures that we cannot control. And the time we may have off, the time we would have for sleep, for eat, for activities, for exercising, that is going to get rid of that stress. Those times become less and less and less or non-existent. And so there's only, yeah, so much we can do to the way we see everything, but then there's real pressures from the outside that are also occurring. So it's not a physician per se problem, or in any industry, problem from the person. There's some inherent quality that's abnormal, but we're having a response to all these pressures that are beyond our control. And it's important to tackle both. We can't just say one or the other, but it's really important to, while the systemic pressures and things change, hopefully for the better, we have to take care of ourselves, because nobody's going to come to tell you to take care of yourself. It really, like, we have to take that lead, that charge to do that for ourselves, and then start advocating, start bringing awareness, start speaking up, start bringing up boundaries to really start changing all those forces that keep, putting us in the same place. We can't get out of it.
At the organizational level, let's just at the hospitals or the healthcare system, healthcare plans. Dr. Bill Fish, the senator, I interacted with him quite a bit on this during the pandemic. He was suggesting that a lot of gardening and a lot of open spaces around the hospital, around the doctor's offices. Visit there 10-15 minutes. There is a actual study done. There is a research done that's for saying that it can relax a lot of doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals. Let us talk about the organization. Would you, or something like or the things like my brain cafe to technology can help those people? What do you think in the organization level they should adopt in the process of relaxation for people, particularly doctors and
Well,
nurses?
I mean, I think, yes, you can bring greener spaces. That's going to definitely show. I mean, there could be music, there could be better lighting that just has a more calming effect on the nervous system. And any type of technology that can help, that is helpful. But if you just put that and don't address the inherent causes of what's getting the stress, or a boss that is not listening, is not working with you, is not giving you requests to have a time off because it's a social event, a wedding, a death. If you don't have that level of compassion from a leadership standpoint, you can put all the cafes, or all the green space outside, but what is really truly happening day to day? That's really important. So yes, that definitely would be more healing space to work in, where you can go outside and there's a nice fountain, there's trees, there's grass. That's very soothing. But then when you go back, what's happening inside? So we can use technology, we can use green spaces to make the current situation better, but I think that cannot replace the systemic and the true cause of what's happening to get us there.
So now, coming back to that compassion and kind and compassion, let us talk about that a little bit. That is a missing. I'm going to do actually one of the presentation also related to that a little bit. But kind and compassion is missing in the organization level. So how do they can adopt the kind and compassion at the organization level? Then we'll talk about our individual taking self care. We'll talk about it, but organization level, how can they adopt the kind and compassion?
Well, I think at any level of leadership, if you consider yourself a leader, That's different than a manager. So a manager wants to manage people and schedules and things like that. But if you're truly leading and you're leading a group of people or healers or nurses or physicians, you actually have to go back to the people you're leading and ask them what their needs are, ask them what the pain points are, where are the inefficiencies, where are the processes that are not working, and truly have a bi-directional communication. When everything comes top down and there's no feedback and there's no listening, you could hear it, but you may not listen and truly affect some changes, then that's a problem. So communication is key. Going to the site, the place where these challenges are occurring, asking what they are from the people that are working every day, whether it's, let's say, a front desk receptionist, what are their pain points, what is happening, how can they be supported, then going to nurses, going to physicians, everybody in a healthcare team, medical team, what is happening. And even though we've done things a certain way for eons, is that really working? And asking ourselves, why are we doing this way, or can we do things a different way? And really asking why, really asking why not. And again, having conversations and discussions are key. So communication is key. Just doing things just because that's how we do it and never questioning it, I think that's a recipe for disaster. And we are in that disaster because we just keep doing the things. We've just done it this way. We're not going to change our ways. And that's a little bit of a cultural thing of medicine, that this is how we do it. We stand in line. We don't look around. We don't question. And I think it's time for people to start questioning, why are we doing things a certain way? Because again, we are not seeing, forget even just physicians or nurses or anybody in a team taking care of patients, mortality rates for patients themselves and for children is not like they're very good or very reassuring. So something is being amiss, that even our outcomes are not as good as we like it. Yes, we have fantastic technology, we have fantastic treatment options, that other countries may not have, but then how are our outcomes in health? I think we don't see that per se if we really are looking at how are we healing.
So, Diana, how much money or profit the hospitals wanted to profits only? That's a profit and greed, and the part of the healthcare system, particularly in these hospital systems, in the healthcare plans, that is playing a huge role. How do you solve that? Is the beyond the it is something that Dr. Todd Horton was saying, we need to destroy the system and start from scratch. So, what do you think of that greed-based system? How do we change that?
Yeah, I think many people don't even realize what's happening. I think we have to peel the curtain and really show what's happening. And there's so many examples of greed and so many examples of too many people, too many chefs in the kitchen stirring the pot. And even, for example, when you go to a pharmacy, if you go to a pharmacy, the pharmacist is not allowed to tell you that if you pay for a prescription with cash, not insurance, it actually be much cheaper than using your insurance plan. But they are not allowed to tell you that, and nobody knows that. But if you use your insurance, your PPO, your HMO, the price may be much higher. And then that money actually doesn't go to the pharmacist. It goes to all these intermediaries that are getting that profit, that are getting, again, that part of the pot, and making some life-saving medications that people need daily, not available. And they have to decide between food or medications. And so people don't even realize about that small part. And that is a huge part, because if a medication is $165 versus $30, that's a big difference for many people in America. And even as a physician, I'm not going to pay $165 for something that I can get cash, base for $30. And you can say the same thing about imaging. You can say the same thing about, so many things. And that's why many, for example, physicians are leaving the insurance model and doing to direct primary, direct specialty care, and just avoiding the whole, drama and just headache of it, because there's so many people dictating how we take care of people, what medications are the best, what studies are needed or not, how much time we can spend with patients. That's dictated not by us. And that is affecting care. And that's run by greed, because the more people you see, it's just like a factory, just moving in and out, in and out. Don't spend time, because you're not going to see 30 people instead of 10. So it's about money, and that really affects care.
Dana, I'm from Atlanta. I used to go to a good friend of mine and a doctor up there. He's a great friend, but he's not a great doctor. He's okay doctor, but one thing I noticed from him is that his calmness is quite very quiet and calm. That made me extremely calm. That reflection, whether he's a he knows every subject, every part of the medicine. I dealt with thousands of doctors, so that's one thing that I notice with the doctors, that kind and compassion, and then the calmness that they reflect. It's extremely important, not only as a patient, as just a individual dealing with them. That is, most of the doctors have it now during after the pandemic. That is being affected. Tell me a little bit about that calmness, how that created and how that is lost.
Yeah, I mean, the placebo effect is actually real. And some studies said it was 30%, but it could be up to 50%. And what I mean by placebo effect is that, you know, of course, we could talk about medications, placebo, that, if you get a sugar pill or a Cheerio basically versus a real medication, the Cheerio may still cure you or make you feel better if the doctor tells you it's going to make you feel better. So there's like a trust and a belief that that can make you better. But it also goes to just the demeanor and the belief in the physician that you're going to be okay, that, we're going to figure out what's going on. And that's emotional state of calmness and relaxation versus somebody who walks in as a physician, is stressed out, is angry. Like, you start absorbing that energy and that stress, and you get nervous. What you want when you go to a physician is to get reassurance, to be told that things will be okay. And even if they're not, like, these are the steps to take or what to expect. And again, that only happens when there's a calm state, when there's compassion and curiosity. But when you're in stress as a physician, when you're in burnout, there's no way that you're going to have that experience. So that's why it's really important, because that actually affects how we heal or how you feel as a patient, just from the energy, the stress level, and from the belief that you will truly get better, and you are invested in that patient to do so. Again, it's very challenging to have those qualities when you're always in stress, when you're anxious, depressed, suicidal as a physician. And we know that more than 400 physicians every year, die by suicide. So those numbers are pretty alarming, because that may be the doctor that took care of you yesterday. And so you got to think about what is their mental state, what is going through their mind, instead of focusing just solely on you and listening, truly listening, paying attention to the nonverbal cues, to the body language. That's challenging when you are stressed, or when you're thinking about how will you end your life that day.
I want to be a little bit a devil's advocate here. I wanted to ask you that, a lot of times maybe this is an internal projection from the healthcare, particularly education system. Doctors is to be projected as gods. So you feel that you're a god. Then when you are letting yourself down, is it possible that is internal conflict is creating a lot of problem there?
Well, I mean, and I think the God complex or ego complex, it is large in medicine, especially as surgeons, that, you're told you are the best, you're the expert. And, that's just not the reality. And when we are confronted with reality, then we start spiraling into like an imposter, or, a dissonance of integrity, because, it's not really happening. You don't know everything. And how do you reconcile the fact that you don't know everything, but you project that you do, or people expect or assume that you do? So I think that can cause some internal conflict. And also the fact that some people truly want to spend the time, truly want to listen, truly want to give you the best medication, the best referral to a certain doctor, but you're not allowed to, let's say because of insurance reasons or because of other factors. And the fact that you have the knowledge that, let's say, this specialist may be better, but you're not able to send your patient there, that creates conflict. Because how can you sleep at night knowing you send them somewhere else where the care is going to be much worse, for example. So every day you have to reconcile those decisions and that knowledge, knowing that it's not maybe not the best, or that you give them a medication that is denied and the insurance only allows a worse medication that truly is going to have side effects that are not pleasant, but that's all that the insurance will, accept. And so, with that knowledge that this is not a great treatment. So that starts eroding your soul, your sort of like, the dream that you want to do the best because it's not. So there's a conflict.
Yeah. When I was a kid in India, growing up in India, I used to watch some strange, drunken people or something. I used to get scared when I was 7, 8 years old, 9 years old. My mother used to do a special thing is called a panic. This is dishti they call in Telugu. It's called a panic healing. She used to do. That calmed me down. Such a powerful effect on me. You're one of the rare physicians that went through a panic healing course, and then is certified in panic healing and a life coach. Tell us a little bit about that, and then after that I'm going to present something, and then come back and ask you your details.
Yeah, I think we have to continue to learn in everything in life. We're students for life. And the moment we think we become experts, I think that can be a problem because we're always learning. We always see things that, we didn't encounter before, no matter how many years of experience. And that's sort of the beauty and the magic of everything. And so for me, yes, I love what I do. I stay up to date with, the things that are taught in Western medicine, but there's so much more to healing and for modalities and things that can be very helpful. And so, yes, I am also a certified life coach. That helps, with awareness. That helps with looking at your mindset, your thoughts, how you're feeling, and how that's contributing to how the way you're acting or not acting or taking action. And there's also a lot with just energy. We know that we can feel somebody else's magnetism, somebody else's good energy, or their moody or angry energy. We feel that we are affected by others, and it is challenging in medicine because we can't measure it. How do you measure it? You can't see it on a scan. You can't pinpoint it at this point in time. So it's challenging for people to believe it may have some power, but you know there's many studies about healing modalities, and there's many, but you spoke about one, which is pranic healing. There's also, Reiki, there's, Qigong, there's different modalities that use energy for healing or for, just, feeling better emotionally, physically, or psychologically. And pranic healing is one that, again, uses energy. It is a no-touch, treatment, but it can really help relieve some of those blockages of energy. And the way to maybe explain in some way would be maybe acupuncture. People now are more comfortable with talking about acupuncture and how they use little needles to put them in, say, little freeways of energy in our body to allow them to move more freely. So anything that is stagnant, we know causes disease. We can talk about, urine. If you don't get your urine or your pee out, you're going to get an infection, you're going to get pain. And that's the same thing with energy. When it gets stuck in a certain part of your body, you feel the manifestations of that. It may be pain, it may be disease, it can be a lot of things.
That is the one thing I'm going to present to you right now. That's kind of a abstract aspect of that, but it's some extent we can, even the abstract aspects we can quantify in a different way, the effects at least to quantify. That's I'm going to show you. That's you can quantify the feelings and love and kindness, but you can qualify the effect of it when you get sick or that you can. That's what I'm going to present. When I get back, I'm going to present that topic. You're going to watch with me after that. I'm going to ask you details a little bit. What are the tools available and what you can provide to all of us. I'm going to ask you that. Okay. So let me present you. I will bring you to the both. You can ask any questions anytime. Okay. That's a beautiful Diana Londoño, urologist. Yeah. Let me present you a topic on this is the science fiction writer Arthur Clarke says that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. That is what I'm going to present as magic today. So I'm going to start. That's medical imaging, how they connected with the ghosting. I'm going to talk about is a funny thing here. Everybody thinks that the real ghost, and I'll tell you, there's a very surprising thing that you're going to learn today, all of you, because some of the people. I'm going to start with a fictional story. There are two people. They're brother and sister. There's a love between them. There's a brother. So they grew up together in the same place, and then they went to the college. So the girl went to the UGA, University of Georgia, and then boy went to the Vanderbilt University. They are born. They're brotherly love. They have their own games. Georgia has a Bulldogs. There's a basketball team. Then we have a Commodores. But UGA beats all of them to the pulp. Always Vandy loses all the times. So she used to be. So that is a thing. So they have brotherly love. So they want to be compassionate to each other. So sometimes the girl wears, to show support to her brother, she wears the Vanderbilt t-shirt, and and then immediately, without any contacts together, that boy wears the Georgia t-shirt. When he wears a Georgia t-shirt, she wears a Vanderbilt, or when she wears Vanderbilt t-shirt, so vice versa. Anything that they're switching automatic with the instant. That is called a magic, right? It's a magic distance. There is no phone calls, no text messages, no emails, no third party, no calling mom or dad. But they change the moment she puts the Vanderbilt thing. He puts immediately Georgia t-shirt. But that is considered as magic, is it not? Yeah, that is considered as magic. But magic is not allowed in the world. So a lot of people complain. Particularly the lawyers are not too happy about it. There's a lot of money involved. There's a bet. There's a magic involved. They say so. There's a lot of cash. People always America loves betting. So magic or no magic. That's a test that they want to do. They're not calling, but they're putting the t-shirt, one t-shirt, the immediately, instantly, she's putting the other t-shirt instant. That's kind of a strange magic relationship between the brother and sister. But that is not allowed in the modern world, in scientific world. How do you do that? So they send expensive lawyers to check it out. So they got a Harvard lawyer that he says that I don't believe in magic. I don't believe in ghosts. I'm going to do this. There is actually the reason they are changing. Of course, I agree with them. They're not calling each other. They're not talking with third party. We checked all of them, but they made a pact. They made a secret pact between them before they left for college. So you wear this in particular time. They're not telling us what that secret pact is, but that is they're executing that secret pact between the brother and sister. That's what So he said that I can prove easily. I'm going to send a high-priced lawyers to this game and send it out and check it out. This. So they send the two lawyers one is dispersed to the UGA in Athens, Georgia, and then Vanderbilt in Nashville. They send it to two expensive lawyers. So what they did was they have both t-shirts, both Georgia t-shirt and both Vanderbilt t-shirt, both of them. So they have communication each other. So they put one thing on the Vanderbilt t-shirt on the girl. Immediately boy is wearing a Georgia t-shirt. Vice versa. It's happening. They just gave randomly they gave a different shirts and check it out whether the other boy is putting or not. So magic is execute. It is a magic. And it is you consider that as a magic because they're calling the lawyers are checking on each other. They're putting the Vanderbilt t-shirt on the girl. Immediately is putting the Georgia t-shirt. If she's putting the Georgia t-shirt, she is putting the Vanderbilt t-shirt. It's the instant without no communication between them. There is no known communication between them. That is the magic. So lawyers lost. The verdict was unspoken bond that they have between this one. So magic won and lawyers lost. So how did they so magic is always won this game. That is the story of quantum entanglement. Entanglement is two particles, the elementary particles, You can see electron, photons, anything. They come from the same source. So brother and sister came from the same mother. So same source. The quantum entanglement is the exactly the same story. That is no difference. They have a perfect correlation between these two. So if there is a photons coming from the same atom, two particles came from same atom, they exhibit the same properties, that magical property. That's what is a magical property. So that's called quantum entanglement. For example, quantum entanglement is one photon is spin is up, the other spin is down, is immediately this change. Okay. So, but there is one more thing. It's not like they, it's a very correlation is understandable. If there's a one is spin up, automatically other one is spin down. It's a correlation, but it's a very magical correlation. I tell you what that is. Unless you spin up, until you observe the particle, it doesn't know it's spin up or down. It is in both positions same time. That's called superposition. In the quantum physics, it's called superposition. It is in both up and down same time. So until you observe it, it assumes one of the positions, either up or down. So if this is one particle which is born out of the same atom or same source, one particle goes the up, showing up the spin up, the other one showing the spin down. It is, if you observe, she observes first the down, immediately it becomes blue, the up. So here's one observes blue, other observes red, the immediate. This is without a time delay, instant. So even if you take those particles million miles away, billion miles away, or 100 billion miles away, light years, still they exhibit that property. That's a magical connection between those two particles is undeniable. Okay, so there's one, but it's very strange. You need to really understand this aspect. Until you observe it, it will not assume one of the positions up or down. Once you observe it, one of the first one who observed it, that assumes without any preferences, either up or down. Once it becomes a clear position, up or the other one is going to be down. If it is down, the other one is going to be up. That is the relationship between these two particles. We are made up of particles. Remember that. So this is a quantum entanglement. It's called a quantum entanglement. So quantum entanglement, Einstein said that is a nonsense. That is strange. Einstein is a very powerful, scientist, as you all know, is a genius, and everybody knows. You throw a curveball at that argument. He says that they have a spooky action at distance. That's what magic. That is spooky. You cannot affect each other such at long distances. It doesn't make any sense. He said. Albert Einstein said that. That is called EPR paradox. Einstein posed, Boris Podolsky and Nathan Rosen, their last names, Einstein, EPR paradox, is saying that they have a secret path. They have a hidden value between them. Just that we don't know what that is. That's what Einstein threw a curveball at this phenomenon of quantum entanglement. That's not provable. You cannot prove. What can you prove? So that is, you cannot prove they don't have a secret pact. That is very hard to prove. But Einstein was wrong. This is a gentleman, came out in the 1964. His name is John Bell. Outside of the physicist, people don't know him. He came up with a brilliant mathematics paper. It came out of paper. It's called a non-locality testing. You can test the Einstein's idea, EPR paradox, non-locality. They are affecting each other magically. He wants to prove there exists magic. You can prove there is a magic exists between them, exists between these two particles. So what he did, he came up with a paper that is mind-boggling. It is a physics in science, in physics, a mind-shattering paper. Not too many people outside of physics, people don't know him. He is an Irish physicist, John Bell, his name. So his paper is, every physics student knows his name. He created a mathematical framework to test the magic, if there magic exists or not. This is the magic. So if you have a dealer, this is called a magic square. It's called Merriman Pierce Magic Square, actually produced by, is a remodified by Aravind, Dr. Aravind, and a couple of the other Carabello from Italians. They did modify this game. It's called a magic square game. There is some rules. I tell you, the rules are, they can, when two people together can talk together, and then there is a game rules. The one person works on only columns, one person works on the rows. But there is a condition, is they must be even in one row, and the columns must be odd. This is some kind of a rules and regulations. One day we will play together, all of us. This game, what he proposed is that if you are playing in the beginning with know each other, you're talking to each other, you can solve it immediately without a problem. But once you stop communication between these two people, this game cannot be solved. You cannot. So there is no connection. There is a violation there. It's a John Bell's violation. It's called. It is very strange that this game is so strange. In 2022, Scientific American say is one of the strangest games. And you can play actually online. We all can play. If the dealer is ghost, you are playing against the dealer. Once we are communication to each other, we can solve this magic square. The moment we stop the communication between us, we definitely lose. The only way you can win this game is not playing. Okay, so this is the proof. So every time the dealer is a ghost, you lose. Another way, there's a Hollywood medium. There's Henry, that guy, Hollywood medium guy is there. You can test him. He's talking with your grandmother or not. The best way to test it is you can communicate if she's communicating with him. Okay, the magic square can be solved. Only quantum computers can be solved. This magic square. So unless he is in touch with that exact lady and communicate with her, he cannot. So you can test the Hollywood medium, is it true or not, through the mathematical structure. That's the greatness of this magic square. It's called Merriman Pierce Magic Square. Is one of the most powerful mathematical structure that came out from the John Bell's inequality, that is violation. So it's what he proved with the magic square. There has to be magic between them. There is no other option. Quantum. So they won. In fact, 2022 last year, they won the Nobel Prize to proving this magic exists. This is called Yalian aspect of the French, John Clauser of San Francisco, and the Anton Zollinger of Austria won the Nobel Prize for the quantum entanglement, testing of the quantum entanglement, that he proved that magic exists. Diana, you can jump in anytime you want to. So the viruses but let us talk. I will shift the game a little bit and talk a little bit different topic in a second. I will come back to the quantum entanglement in a minute. Viruses, proteins, molecules, enzymes. Yeah, we have some idea, but set in scale, and the scale is size-wise, and the functions time-wise, we don't have access to it. We don't know how the cells actually divide, perfect division, or enzyme reactions. We don't know functional part. In the size, we don't have the size of the cells. Particular cell is exactly what is going on mitochondrial level. We don't have that scale. We don't have access to that scale. That is a big problem. Viruses, proteins, molecules. That's why we don't have we have problem with the cancer, because we don't have the exact mechanisms. We don't understand it. How the cells communication that they do. These are all at the levels of both the structural and functional. It is a size-wise and the time-wise. We don't have an access. It is a size-wise nanometers, 100 nanometers, and the function-wise, the time-wise is a picoseconds and femtoseconds. Enzyme reactions are so fast you cannot have access. There is no way you can see that a reaction. So what we can do? That is That's quantum ghost imaging was born. We are going to use the quantum entanglement to find us quantum ghost imaging. This is a real word. It is not. I'm not making up. This is a Wikipedia word. It's actually scientific word. Quantum ghost imaging. What it does is you take a candle. I'm just showing you this. Don't when I show these kind of things sometimes, my goal is to convey the concept, not the technique. I rather technically wrong and conceptually right. A lot of times IT people, they're technically right and conceptually they go wrong. So I want to be concepts first correct. That's what I want to convey. So just don't take it exactly. They put a candle there. Just follow my logic. So they take two photons coming from the same source. One goes to the right to Atlanta, other goes to San Francisco. Okay. They're correlated, they're quantum entangled photons they are. One goes to the body inside, other one goes to the San Francisco. I can see, because they're correlated, I can see what is going on in this body in San Francisco. If I can tap that magic, so I don't have to, they don't have connection, no connection. They left. Remember, they have a zero connection. Once they left the right side, they went to Atlanta, the other one went to San Francisco. There is no connection between them. But still, I can feel, I can do the actual imaging I can see the imaging in San Francisco, the image of the body, what's going on. We can use that, in fact. You can use our quantum ghost imaging. It's used in a Brooklyn lab. There's a quantum X-ray microscopy is coming up. There's two photons going around, and then what they do. What is the advantage of that is you can see that is below 10 nanometers. The advantage of the quantum ghost imaging, the reason is you can see that such a clarity, because you can use by photon, single photons. You can check it out because they're correlated. Remember. So reduce the radiation, because you can reduce the radiation of one photon because they're correlated still. Whatever it does, I know what it does. This is doing the same thing the other side. What it does, this side, this photon is doing, I can see here. This magically I can see. The photon, if there's the X-ray that I can see, I can play much more. If it is a fast and it doesn't have time, I can do the reduced radiation. I can see here on this one. I can play around with this one without destroying the body, without putting too much exposure to the body. You can reduce the radiation. And then cancerous lesions that won't see, even the PET CT scan cannot see. You can see with the quantum ghost imaging X-ray. So quantum the Brookhaven National Labs, the defense labs, defense is doing for some of the things. They want to see soldiers without looking at them. You are not looking at the person, you're looking at the light and seeing the image. Can you believe that? You're not seeing the person, you're seeing the light that is falling on him. That light, you're taking the picture of that light and you can see that person. That is quantum ghost imaging. You can not only do quantum ghost imaging, you can do the so entangled quantum I put one more. Is a quantum ghost imaging or the PET CT scan. You can see quantum entangled PET. Because one of the PET CT scans. I used to sell them. So PET CT scans. What it does is when you have two photons going in the direction, a lot of scattering comes in between. Sometimes they interact each other. So PET CT doesn't have a great imaging, even though they do CT scan to do the structural part of it. Still, there's a problem. There is a technical problem in the PET CT scan, which is they enter a lot of noise, a lot of artifacts in the PET CT scan. You get the better idea, but really, the quantum ghost imaging can really blow out of this water. It can tell you which cell is acting up funny. Is that powerful quantum ghost imaging? Quantum they're already working on it. Quantum PET is on the process of making. They're making it. Quantum entangled photons they use. They use the special diamond crystals. They use the diamond to do that kind of a scattering, to that measure the exact scattering. So what they do, they only how do they get rid of the scattering? When only they take care of the entangled photons, the rest of them are noise basically. So then we know the correlation between these two photons is undeniable. The bond, the magic they have, we have to we keep track of it, and then we mathematically compute that they're the same, they're quantumly entangled. Then you can ignore everything, the noise is gone. So quantum PET imaging, now the nanosemic quantum dots. Quantum dots are the new contrast agents. They are just out of this world. I tell you how that works. They are nano semiconductor crystals. You can inject them. Okay, so very nanos. They are called fake atoms. In fact, so quantum dots, what they do is they work as a contrast agents. They go inside. They do quantum entanglement. They produce two photons. They're light. They produce light. They lighten up inside. They go inside to the cancer cell. They lighten up. You can see, surprisingly, cell by cell, they can hunt them with these quantum dots. They're an excellent contrast agents. So the future is going to be revolutionizing the medical imaging. It is the quantum ghosting is a quantum entangled photons. We are using the magic of the quantum entanglement. Medical devices, PET CT scan, MRIs, X-rays, they're all coming up. So quantum ghost imaging is a first. For example, now I'm interviewing a doctor urologist. I got to talk about that a little bit, otherwise she's going to get upset. Prostate cancer detection. University of School of Maryland is doing right now is with the quantum dots. They experimented with them. With the ghost imaging, they're doing is a quantum ghost imaging. They're using urology side. There's a quantum ghost imaging urology. That's how it's coming up field. So LE detection, high resolution, exact location, photodynamic therapy. The quantum dots also, this entangled photons you can use to destroy the cancer. The photosensitive contrast agent you can give to them. This quantum dots carry those things, and then you know exactly the location of the cell causing the trouble. And the photodynamic, the photosensitive, light sensitive drug, they give it to them, and it goes there. When you put the light there, the quantum dots lighten up. The cancer is gone. Cancer is destroyed. It is a magic on our hand is coming up. So there is what is that unspoken bond between these two particles? We are made up of particles. So in physics, they call these two particles Bob and Alice. Actually, there's a name. We use that name very common. So we are using Juan Maldacena is one of the MacArthur Genius Fellow, is Argentinian-born Princeton professor, where Einstein was the chief at the time. He was still alive. He's very alive. He says that there is an unspoken bond between them. That bond is we don't know what that particle bonds are, but I can tell you the unspoken bond between the brothers and sisters is love and kindness. That's what Diana Londoño is going to talk about it. So thank you for watching. It is fun to talk, and then this is what we are doing is this is a MedBricks presentation. Thank you for watching. Let me bring Diana to the table. Diana Londoño, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to be speechless on that one. I mean, it's fascinating, really, just to be able to use a different way to, do all the things like minimize the, damage of any radiation, be more precise, be able to see things, in a, more accurate way than what we have now, even though we do have, pretty accurate things. But yeah, when you're able to get to the, photon and that level of dimension, then I think what we're able to see, especially in terms of medical imaging, I mean, it's pretty fascinating. It's really like overwhelming to really think about how it works and why it works. I think it's remarkable.
Is a lot of times I talk about the doctors. I want them to understand the quantum entanglement. A lot of times, even the physics people have some hard time understanding it. That's why I put some kind of a thing that I put together. Anyway, thank you. Just let me bring you to the table. Yes, yeah. So that is the unspoken bond. We all need a kindness and compassion. That is what is showing that that's sometimes there is even the species are agreeing there is an unspoken bond between those two particles. We have an unspoken bond among the humanity. We are not using it. So tell us how we can use it. What are the tools available, and how we can show the compassion what the brothers and sisters are showing, or the two particles are exhibiting.
Well, that's a tall order, and that's a big question. But I really do think that you know when we peel the layers of the onion, and the onion I'm going to say is the humans, and we start really remembering that our true nature is not this anger, this overwhelm, this yelling, the hate, but truly inside there is like love and compassion and light. And no matter what religion you were brought up with, I mean, whether you're reading the Quran or the Bible or any spiritual text, they really are talking about the same concepts in different ways, but getting to the essence of the light. I mean, there's a lot of talk about the light within us. I mean, it's in every spiritual text, and the love, and the golden rule, and how we want to treat others. You know. And be kind to others. There's a reason, because again, we are all interconnected, to the minuscule level of protons and atoms and all these stuff, and we do affect each other. And when we realize that our actions that we take towards each other have a ripple effect, it really starts hopefully changing how we behave to one another. Because it's not just the first person you yell that they affect, then they're going to be upset and angry and yell at somebody else, and then the effect magnifies. And so it's not just whoever you're sending your anger to, and hopefully we switch it to love, because that kindness, that love you send, it again magnifies and has a ripple effect. And it comes back, whether you believe in it or not, but there is a law of karma, and karma is, whatever you do is going to come back to you. So if you want good things to come back to you, that's what you got to put out in the world, is kindness and love and compassion. And so that can come back to you. But if you put out anger and you steal and you're greedy, people think that they can run it, and that is not going to come back to them, but it will come back. So, if you don't want to get that suffering, something easy to do is just every day, the seeds that you plant are, again, kindness, compassion, and love for one another, because it will grow into something.
Is the anger exists because there's somebody's a greed? We need to face that greed and then they attack the greed. Do you need the anger as an essential aspect of that or not? What do you think?
Well, I think anger is just showing that there's an injustice. You're perceiving that there's an injustice. That's why you get angry. And anger is important. You need that emotion to protect you, to for survival. It's important. But when people just live in anger all the time and never move past that, then that is a problem. The anger is essential, but it has to be then transformed, tempered, with love and compassion, and some type of action to stop that situation that caused anger, that injustice. But again, I think many people just usually just sit on anger and don't get out of that loop.
Diana, you are one wonderful lady. You not only is a great urologist, and you are truly a great human being. It's a totally privilege and honor to talk with you. I'm so honored to talk with you. It is. Give us some background. What? How do they reach you? What are the podcasts you have? Just let me give me some background
Yeah,
on
of
that.
course. I mean, I'm in social media. You can go to my website, Diana Londoño, MD, like medicaldoctor.com. You can learn more about me there. You can also find me on any social media, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and it's just my name, Diana Londoño, MD. I'm usually on LinkedIn a lot, but again, you can find me, and my website, shows what I do as a urologist, but also about wellness, or presentations I've done, or podcasts, or things I like to talk about or write about. So you can definitely find out more about that, or if you need a speaker, I could definitely do workshops. I do grand rounds, if it's a medical institution, but really just sharing some of these concepts of the importance of why we gotta get out of that stress state, that anger state, that overwhelmed state, and really what are tools we can do every day, what are practical things we can do every day to really get out of that and be in a more peaceful, calm, joyful place. And there's many things we can do, and really just, you're going to feel better, your health will improve, and you're just going to be more pleasant to be around, which unless you're going to live in the cave, you're going to have to interact with somebody. So your family, your close circle, the people beyond that are going to really enjoy that person, that version of you that is happy and joyful, instead of the angry, yelling, overwhelmed, the cynical person.
I got to the thousands of doctors, but you are one of the most impressionable doctors that I'm privileged and honored to know you. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're considered as a friend. Thank you, Dr. Diana Londoño. Thank you so much for joining with us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your kind words. That's very nice. You talk to a lot of people, so that's very kind. Thank you.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.